Howdy folks, this is Michael Kreider for Android Community, and today we're going to take a look at the Next Issue Media app for magazine subscriptions. Now, Next Issue did a few experiments last year where they were selling individual magazines or individual magazine subscriptions through some of the more popular app markets, but now they've got a brand new interface, a brand new app that handles it all in one. So everything that you want as far as their supported magazines is right here. The interesting thing about Next Issue's new format is the pricing scheme. Basically, the deal is for $9.99 you can get all of the monthly magazines, and for $14.99 you get all of the monthly and weekly magazines. So depending on which ones of these that you read and which ones you want to read on your Android tablet, it could be a really good deal, or it could not. If you only read one or two, you're probably still going to have a better deal buying them individually or buying the subscriptions individually, which you can still do with this app. But if you're the kind of person that just devours magazines, has a dozen sitting on his or her coffee table, this might be something of interest to you. Now, their selection right now is a little limited. They've got about 30 or 40, and it looks like most of them definitely skew female, which is not a bad thing. I mean, more women tend to buy magazines than men, but you've got a somewhat limited selection. As far as the stuff that I would want to read, you've got Sports Illustrated, The New Yorker, Time Magazine, Popular Mechanics and Popular Science, and that's about it as far as my tastes go. If you love following the celebrities or the home and gardens type stuff, there's plenty of things here for you. And they say that they're going to add lots and lots of more magazines and more publishers going through, but this is it for now. There's plenty of stuff here to check out, and like I said, if you read these magazines a lot on a regular basis and you want to have that experience on your tablet, those all-you-can-eat pricing schemes are attractive. But let's take a look at the interface. You can see we're using a Samsung 7-inch tablet here, and these magazines are designed specifically to work with this format. Some of them redesign, scale up a little bit for a 10-inch tablet, but 7-inch is kind of the ideal that they're looking at now. Alright, let's go into Popular Mechanics. Now, the interesting thing here in the overall view, things work in landscape or in portrait. But once you get into the magazine, the vast majority of them only work in portrait. Let's just let it load up there. Okay, I'm gonna go to the front. You can see they have this this interesting sort of Apple cover flow style interface to get through all of the pages. And I'm on a 3G connection here, so it's a little bit slower than you might see elsewhere. But these are huge magazine files. Alright, and the interface works mostly like you'd expect it to, but there are a few foibles. You go through, forward, back, swiping and stuff, but it isn't like a big PDF file or some sort of big image that you're looking through. You don't do the pinch and zoom. Instead, all of the text has been reformatted specifically for this screen size. I can read it from here, about 3 feet away. If I was holding it in my hand, it would be pretty comfortable. There's advantages and disadvantages to this. You don't get the full look at some of the integrated images like you would when you're reading on a bigger tablet or when you're reading with a physical magazine. But the fact that they've gone through and reformatted everything to work with this screen size is impressive. Of course, the digital format does give them a few options. Like here on the index page, you go through and you can see all of the stories on one and zip to each story as they go. And you can see I've gone 150 pages or so into the magazine. And there are little integrated functions. Let me see if I can find one for you guys. Obviously the ads go straight to their standard websites. Alright, I'm having trouble finding some. The thing is, each publisher looks at things a little differently, and all of them format it a little differently as well. So I've been doing some sneaking around in People, and I know there's a lot of stuff in there. So let's go over there. Oh, but real quick, I wanted to show you guys some of the cool stuff that Parents Magazine is doing with their covers especially. Just as a for instance, let's go to the cover page, and you can see they've got some dynamic content going on here. Now, let's see if it'll do it for me. You see we've got an animated cover here, and after a few minutes it brings up the headlines. There we go. That's interesting. Not super functional, but definitely something you couldn't do with a paper magazine. Okay, let's go over to People to look at some of those integrated links. And I know that the Hunger Games is a hot topic right now, so let's check that out. Now, as you can see, this is the contents page for People, and they do it a little differently, because all of these have been adapted from their source files to work just a little differently. It's kind of hard to get used to, but once you get your head around the main interface with this, this sort of cover flow thing here that goes between the main topics, it gets a lot easier to handle. So let's go to the front page, and you can see there's some dynamic content going up here. And we can go through each one. Now, the standard formatting that they got here does have a few drawbacks. Like, for example, here in People, they've got these links to full photos, but it's still showing up in this this vertical format, this portrait format. And you can't see the big picture of, what's her name, Jennifer Lawrence, going here. So that's an issue. Some of the magazines do this, some of them don't. At this point, most of them do this. So that's something to consider. And one more thing I wanted to show you was that in Time, they've actually got dynamic news going on. So let's load up the last week's Time magazine. And you can see that before their index page, and you can see this is here in Time, they've got their weekly photos, and it's in a landscape format, which is kind of off-putting when you're doing all portrait format all the time here. And even though the page is in landscape format, the tablet interface still stays in that same portrait. So let's go to the front page. The interface may seem a little slow, but honestly that's just because of my connection. It's very fast, very responsive, surprisingly so. So here's your features, and here we have the Time newsfeed that brings up. It's got a live connection to Time's website, and it's got all of the latest stories from the actual website. And here you can see something about the Titanic anniversary that's coming up. So that's interesting. All of this it's a compelling new way to get this stuff. I don't know if everybody's going to be used to it. If you get a lot of the magazines that are supported here, then it's a steal. If you only get one or two, maybe you read one magazine a month, well, this probably isn't for you. Alright, we're going to have a full review up later. My name is Michael Kreider, and I work for Android Community, and you're looking at the Next Issue Media app. Thank you very much.